Like stated earlier, in the United States, there's about 500,000 to 800,000 children every year seen in the emergency room for head trauma. Most of those cases are mild and recoverable, but what happens to the others? The children, like our son Isaac, who face severe or even permanent injury. I'm joined with my lovely wife Amy, and it's an honor to be here tonight to support Team Luke Hope for Minds. And I want to say thank you for hearing our story. On March 8th, 2020, our 19-month-old son fell into the swimming pool. My nephew Jesse found him unresponsive and began CPR. The ambulance arrived quickly, and I had the duty of carrying my son's body to the paramedics. You can only imagine the desperation that we felt as we handed our lifeless child over and prayed desperately for a miracle. At the hospital, the incredible doctors of Cook Children's worked tirelessly, procedure after procedure, trying to bring him back. Then I saw a miracle. Isaac's chest rose, and I heard the labored gasp as God breathed life back into him. His heartbeat returned, and he was placed on life support. The hours and days that followed were filled with waiting and fear. The MRIs didn't look good, and because of the swelling and the lack of oxygen to his brain, Isaac was given only a 3% chance to live. We were told that even if he lived, he might never recognize us or even have any quality of life. Those first few days were a parent's worst nightmare, made even harder by the isolation of COVID-19. We were cut off from family, our church, even from each other. Just trying to figure out what to do next. Isaac stayed on life support for 9 days and in the hospital for 50. Our friends and family quickly set up a GoFundMe. Through their generosity, we pursued every treatment we could. Hyperbaric therapy, stem cells, functional neurology. But by the end of 2020, our finances were dwindling. Insurance had covered Isaac's feeding tube surgery, but not the equipment or the formula, leaving us with a $600 a month bill just to feed our child. In the middle of all that exhaustion, endless therapy, daily grind, my wife, as lovely as she is, carried the heaviest load while I went to work. She managed 3 kids at the time, countless appointments, and often crying on the way to and from therapy, desperately praying for answers. About 6 months after the accident came a turning point. Amy was driving home from a therapy session, tears streaming down her face, when the phone rang. On the other end was a father in the middle of his own pain, calling to ask how we were doing. That father was Tim Siegel. Through that call, we were connected with Team Luke Hope for Minds, and they helped lift part of the financial burden and made it possible for Isaac to attend an extended functional neurology intensive at the time when we needed it most. The changes from that therapy gave us something we'd been missing all along: hope. When tragedy strikes, families are thrown into a world of urgent learning, therapies, medical terminology, neuromotor sensory reflex circuit, whatever that is, and endless bills. Everyone tells you there's hope, and there is. But that hope often comes with a price tag. $10,000 for hyperbaric treatment, $8,000 for stem cells, $9,000 for neurology intensive. But for most families, that kind of hope feels out of reach. 80% of what we do, or what we are able to do for Isaac, is donation-based. He thrives because of the kindness of others. Brain injury doesn't just change the child, it changes the family. Parents, siblings, grandparents, all become caregivers and a shoulder to lean on. March 8th, 2020, drew a line in our lives, a definitive before and after. But through Team Luke Hope for Minds, we found a way forward. Their support goes far beyond financial help. They connect families through parent and sibling support groups, grief groups, and year-round resources. Their annual Making Connections conference brings families from across the nation together with leading experts in brain injury recovery and with each other. That kind of connection is priceless. Every day we still face challenges in recovery, but Isaac knows who we are. He smiles through every therapy. He lights up every room he enters. He's worked hard for 6 years now and continues to defy every expectation. He's our miracle. Team Luke brings hope into spaces that often feel hopeless. They remind families like ours that miracles still happen. And because of them, Isaac is still fighting. He's still smiling. And we are still standing. If you feel led to give tonight, please know that your generous gifts go to helping children and families in the midst of their pain, families just like ours. Thank you, and God bless.
Thank you to Michelle and Kevin. Let's give them a round of applause for sharing their personal stories one more time.